Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're new here, my name is Jason Pizzino, and on the channel, we look at ways to optimize your wealth using technical analysis on stocks, on cryptocurrencies, and in economic market cycles. I've got a big special video for you guys today. We're reviewing 5 top ASX stocks for the month of August. Now, we're going to look at these ones to be putting onto the watch list. Now, I'm not telling you to buy these stocks because I'm not a financial advisor. If I was a financial advisor, I would tell you to buy stocks and investments which are going to give me kickbacks. That's a little kick at the financial advisors. Don't worry, this channel is not politically correct, so maybe I can get away with that. Anyway, that's jokes aside. Don't get offended. Let's move on with the top 5 stocks that we're going to put onto our ASX watch list for August. Like I said earlier, we're going to use technical analysis to locate the best times to buy these stocks over the coming weeks or months, but they're going to be on our August watch list because we need to keep track of these. We want to scope out these stocks like a sniper. We don't want to just burst in and buy everything just because someone has said it on the internet. Anyway, jokes aside, if you're searching YouTube for technical information on US stocks, Australian stocks, cryptocurrencies, and economic market cycles, this is the channel for you guys. So be sure to subscribe down below. And while you're there, hit the like button as well if you find any value within this video. It just goes towards the channel and helping us out in the YouTube algorithm. So like I said, today's video is extra, very special. I'm going to team up with Justin Baldori. You would have seen him on my channel before, and I've also been on his channel. We are doing a cross look at these stocks. I'm going for the technical analysis and Justin is going to fill you in on all of the fundamental analysis. So be sure to go and check out Justin's video on his channel after you finish watching this. I've left a link to his channel and the video in the description down below. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's dive into today's video. And if you stick around until the end, I've got a couple of extra stocks that we can go through as a bit of a bonus. Now, this video is going to be a long one because I'm diving deeper into 5 stocks, whereas normally I cover 2 to 3 stocks. So be prepared, have your computer ready, pause the video if you need to, draw up the charts as you see fit, and start to locate the areas that you want to be purchasing these stocks at. So with that said, let's dive across to the charts. So the first stock on our list is Bub, and this is a good one to put on the watch list because we've been tracking it for the last couple of weeks, and it looks like it's been following the analysis that we have covered over the last week or so. So with each of the stocks today, I've got some notes up here in yellow on the screen, and I'll also just move the chart around so you can see it in a little more detail at times. Let's start and go through these nice and succinctly. Patterns and technicals on Bub. Now, big picture wedge pattern, which looks like consolidation, because if we zoom right out, don't worry about all of this getting all squeezed up, right out there, we can see that we're pretty low down in the whole price scale of everything that's gone on in Bub since 2007. So that's something we covered in the weeks before. The other thing is rejected at 61% of the May to March range. So that is this range right here from up there down to here. And you can see it just rejected off that 61% and it's fallen away from that. Next thing on the list is the higher major lows. You can see I've circled them here in yellow, yellow, and yellow. Each of those lows are getting higher. We've had higher highs, except for the current one, but that's not a concern to me just yet because it looks like we're in a wedging pattern, which is fine at this point. There's no decisive action just yet, but it doesn't look overly bearish to me. It looks like a pretty good area to continue watching this stock. The volume is increasing with the rallies. So what I mean here is we can see this volume right there going up, and that is going up. And as the price tapers off, also we can see the volume tapering off. Again, volume increase, price increase really quickly. Volume tapers off, price tapers off. Volume increasing. Well, it's kind of equal but increasing. But again, this is not as big of a rise as these ones because we are wedging. And then the volume has begun to taper off a little bit as we start to fall. So that's why I'm expecting this to sort of come back down to here, maybe there. But either way, I am liking the 60 to 70 cent, I think I put here, 70 to 80 cent level for a buy, at least a dollar cost averaging in at that point, maybe on a weekly or a monthly basis, however you do it. That's Bub. I like that for August. Let's move on to our second stock, and that is BRN. Now you'll see these little ads popping up as well. If you're using the free version, which you can find a link for in the description down below, you'll also get these ads. Just close them off. It's no big deal. You don't need to get the paid version to do any of the stuff that I'm doing here. If you want to get the paid version, by all means go ahead if you want to get rid of those ads. It's about 300 Aussie dollars a year. BRN, we've also covered before. Bear market trend has been broken. So I'll focus a little bit more on this as well. I really love the look of these pink lines, not because they're pink and it's my favorite color, another joke, but because we can see that the price has hit them multiple times. And let's zoom in really close down here. It's broken through. It broke through this level, came up, came back, tested the level from the bearish side. That's what we were waiting for in a couple of other stocks over the last couple of weeks. It's tested it on the bullish side. I think I said bearish earlier, but this is the bullish side, that's the bearish side. Bull, bear. All right, it's tested it, taken off like a rocket, broken through the next trend line, and then tested it again on strength, broke through. I could almost say this is a very strong test because it has fallen back and now it's taken off again. So that's why I like the look of BrainChip. Now, I think a few people may have got me wrong on the previous videos when I talked about BrainChip, that I thought it might be a little bit weak, like long term, but I think long term this one is looking very strong, seeing as it has broken out of big accumulation areas. So what I mean by accumulation is this period here. So you can see that there, this is volume. That means the amount of stocks that are being bought, and that volume has increased a hell of a lot compared to all of this. And it hasn't dropped the price, meaning the volume has been mostly buying against the selling here, selling here, selling here, and volume's taken off. Basically, the volume's dried up. There's no more sellers, and it's been easy for it to take off from that point. What I was saying in the previous video is that we could possibly see the price just rest a little bit and probably come back to these areas of resistance in the past, which can become support. So you'd know I'll talk about that in almost every video. Resistance becomes support, support becomes resistance. If it doesn't hit 11, I could see it probably coming back to 13 area. Now, that's something that, like I said here, I'm still liking the 13 to 14 cent area for a buy zone. We just have to be patient. People expect this to happen tomorrow or the next day. Don't worry, the price is at 18 cents, goes up to 20 cents, big deal, 10%. But if it falls back to 13 cents, we've scooped up a really nice saving. If that doesn't happen, what would invalidate that is if we get a close above these previous extra highs. So this high was at 21 cents, and that's where I would see this then being invalidated. And I'll be like, okay, well, I think we better jump on the bandwagon from this point and go with the stock. BRN, also love that. Let's move on to our third stock. But before I do, if you guys are enjoying this sort of analysis, let me know in the comments down below what you want to see worked on as weeks go on. And of course, like the video. If you find any sort of value from this, all I can ask from you guys is to like the video up and consider subscribing as well, so you can see when I update these stocks in the community section of YouTube. We put up posts and talk about those more in a live sense as opposed to a whole video and then editing it and it coming out. Subscribe, like, you get that. Let's move on to our third stock, Flexi Group. Okay, so you can see this pattern again, but it's in a weaker form. I'll go through these notes that I've got here in a second, but while I've got your attention from the previous chart, so BRN, look at this downtrend, right? It's just connecting the highs. All you're doing is grabbing a trend line and connecting the highs and just seeing as the price breaks through. That's your lesson there. You can see it tested it, and tested it, and tested it, and tested it, and broke through. Now I've got some up arrows. So Flexi Group has done a similar thing here, but it broke through and failed. Now it's sitting on the underside. You can see that here. Let me get rid of that one. And you can see it coming up on the bearish side of this trend line, this downtrend. And that's our 1 point, that's our other point. So 2 points that we've connected the trend line to. You can see it broke through here, but then failed with the COVID crash news, all that sort of stuff that came out in March. It's bounced back since then on extremely high volume, and this is a little bit suspect to me. This bar here, you see this red one on super high volume, and I've put that in the notes here. Long-term bear market from late 2013, and this is another one of those BNPL stocks. So this one's been going down since 2013. Is it ripe for a move up? Potentially, and that's why we've got it on our watch list. I don't want to be telling you all these different stocks as they're at this price point, we're right at these tops. We want to be talking about the stocks when they're at these price points at the lows, because we want to get that gain from 50 cents to $5, that 10x there. Now this one is at $1.18. Could it come back a little bit more? I think so. Like I said here, probably an 80 to 90 cent area for a buy zone. And why do I have that there? Why did I say 80 to 90 cents? Because I'm going to connect these lows using our fib and that high, zoom in a ton, and that's my 95 cent level. So we know that these fibs work by the price coming back to test the 50% if these are the actual anchor points. And we can only know that in hindsight. Look, we've got a couple of extra bars here, so we're able to connect it from the low to the high. If this was to break through, then we would have to change this to wherever that next high is, which would then give us a different area of the 50% zone. So for now, this is the information that we have, and that's why I'm looking, kind of expecting for it to come back to around the 80 cents, maybe 90 cents, and then potentially break through and come back and test on this mark. If it doesn't test, so be it. But I think it's going to do something like that and come out and then maybe do whatever afterwards. But that's why I like the look of FlexiGroup as something to track. And what I'll do is just zoom back and read out the rest of the notes that I've got here after I was analyzing this. So yeah, we've done that. We compare the downtrend to BRN, and we're noting how the pattern should play out for a bullish sign. Heavy resistance at $1.50, so be careful there. If you wanted to play it safe and be a little more conservative with your entry point for this stock, in case it went extra low, like it went below the 38 cents, I would want to see a close above that $1.50. So the recent high, I'll zoom in more so you can see this. That high there has hit back. So it's come up, huge volume, come down, but we haven't fallen away too heavily. So that's why I'm thinking that we may only see a little fall from here and then a retest again of this bear market zone. That's why it's on my list. Heavy resistance $1.50. I like 80 to 90 cent buy zone, but must use a close stop if the bear trend hasn't been broken out of yet. So what I mean is have your stop somewhere around here, and you might not be doing this for a long-term investment, having stops. Personally, I like that idea because I don't want to see it go below 38 cents, because this could be in a bear market for years to come after that. So, you know, you could have entered here at 80, 90 cents, breaks 38, and then you're in strife for many years, making no return on your money. This whole point of investing is to make a return on your money. So we need to have some ideas in mind. Think of, say, like Warren Buffett in March, April of 2020, and he has sold out of his airline stocks. So he's obviously got a sell point in mind, even though he lost 40% or whatever it was just in that sector of his portfolio. Even the big guys will have an area that they are willing to cut their losses at. So don't be a fool and just ride these things out forever. Have a sell point in mind as well. Of course, not financial advice. I'm not telling you where that point is. That comes down to the education. Let's move on to our fourth stock, and the video is getting on now, so we'll make these a little quicker. And if you want to see it in more detail, let me know in the comments down below, and we'll pick up with these stocks in another video. Elder, our fourth one for our August watch list. Now this one is crazy. Look at Elders. I haven't seen many people talk about this on the internet. And I think it does have a reasonable dividend, but why I am liking this are for these reasons on the chart. This stock was $260. Now it's currently at $10.30. Okay, I'll read these out before I get into it. Down here, long accumulation zone. So we know from the previous ones, the accumulation zone is where the price goes flat for a period of time. The volume starts to dry up. Look at that. You can see it drying up, and as soon as it dried up, boom, we get a nice move north. So that's a long accumulation zone, meaning all of the stock that people are selling is being bought up, price is being supported around a similar level. That's a strong sign. Volume dried up, strong signal. Market has been trending up ever since. Look at that. That's just a nice clean uptrend. Yeah, it gets ahead of itself sometimes and corrects, like I've got here. 40% drop during, broke resistance during COVID. So that's a 40% drop over a period of several months, because I have this on a monthly chart. That's 2018 through to 2019, so basically a year. And it's just a clean uptrend, 30% drop, 40% drop. So potentially expect a drop like that 30-ish% down to $7 or $8 if it gets that far. I could see it coming back to test these support levels of around $8 or $9, currently sitting at 10. So what I like about this is that it has a potential to a lot of upside based on the strength that I'm seeing here. Not so much the downside unless this company absolutely falls, at which point you should go and check out the fundamentals on Justin's channel. Left a link in the description for that. But for now, for the technicals, it looks good. What I could see from the technicals is if it did break these lows, because it's putting in a clean uptrend, so this $5 area or this $3.20 area, that would be very concerning to me, and you definitely don't want to see it come this low. As much as you want to be able to pick up this stock at a low value, a low price, you don't want to see it break because that obviously shows signs of heavy weakness. So we want to see it come back and test old resistance and it become support around $8 or $9. That's a good price, in my opinion. Of course, not financial advice. I think I have to keep saying that because some people take it as advice. Let's keep going. March 2020 crash, the worst since 2013, right? This was March, that one bar, the worst since 2013, which we know in the news, it was nuts. In March 2013, look at what happened to the price. If you said almost nothing, you'd be right. It opened at $7.68 on the 1st of March, closed on the 31st of March, or whichever was the last trading day, at $7.52. It literally dropped 16 cents in the month, which was supposed to be the end of the world. That to me is a massive sign of strength. That could come back to bite me in the ass. Having said that, we're already above those prices right now. So something else would have to happen for that to just absolutely invalidate itself. I think that's probably a pretty good area for support at $7, $8. All right, lastly on here, I like the DCA, which is dollar cost averaging in from here, and maybe go to a little heavier at support at $8 to $9. So what I would look at is dollar cost averaging, have a plan, get in once a month, once a week, something like that, not financial advice. And then as this thing falls, I'd probably just continue to keep, which is what dollar cost averaging is, keep the price or the amount that I'm investing each month. If it happens to go that little bit further, maybe I would put a little bit more in, but you got to make sure that fits your plan. All right, that's what I'm liking about Elders. I would love to see you guys talk about this one, not saying buy it, but talk about it because I want to continue to review Elders. I think it's a good stock. All right, let's move on to our wild card now. And the wild card is Self-Wealth. Okay, so I'm mentioning Self-Wealth because many of us who are buying stocks, investing in stocks in Australia should probably know about Self-Wealth by this point. I mentioned it a few weeks ago now when I came up with my video, cheapest Aussie stockbrokers for ASX, and that was about 2 months ago. I saw their stock price while I was researching them, and they were sitting around here, 30-ish cents. It was early June, and they shot up to 60 cents. So it was something that I thought might be of interest to people who, because you're sort of looking and using the stock anyway, cheapest stockbroker, $9.50 to buy and $9.50 to sell. So what I'm looking at here is the shoot up on high volume. It's a great one for the guys who were buying at 10 cents at the COVID crash, selling out at 60. I don't know who did that. If you did, let me know in the comments. You're a superstar. And what we can see here is the price potentially finding a top. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because what I see in the volume shooting up. This is the volume down below. This is the price. These are 1 week bars. And you can see it shoot up again here on high volume, and it continues up. But what happened here? The highest volume we've seen shoot up on an up week. What happens the next week? We get a reversal. This is a clean reversal, and it just couldn't continue on from that point. So I think we could probably see the price come down at this point on Self-Wealth and probably sit somewhere around this zone, the 30 to 40-ish cents. What we saw last time through late October to March of this year is a 68% drop. 68% would set us somewhere around 22 cents. I don't think that is going to happen for Self-Wealth. I could be wrong. I do like the look of this old resistance becoming support. So there's the resistance, here is the support. It tested it before it took off. So I do like that area of around 31, 32 cents. But it's not to say that we can't see it come down quickly, spike down, and then sort of come back above that level. But I wouldn't be hoping on that, essentially. I'd just be looking for support and resistance, which is what we do here, and then just placing that on my watch list with some alerts at those prices for when they come up. If you like the look of the fundamentals and everything else with Self-Wealth, because it is a lower market cap coin, so it can coin. Listen to me, I'm talking like I'm doing a cryptocurrency video. A stock, so that's what I got here. I probably see it around a 68% fall, 61% down to a 50%. The two bonus ones that we'll run through very quickly because this video is absolutely long enough for you guys until the next video. Zip. Now, I've got Zip again. We're not going to spend a ton of time because I put it in the community post on YouTube. So go and subscribe to the YouTube down below, and of course like the video. We are looking at this because it's a great one to continue following. We see a head and potential shoulders pattern here. This was the neckline that I've drawn, and we saw it break down yesterday. And right now we are coming up to 2 hours into the trading session today on Tuesday the 4th, and it's above the neckline at the moment. So that could invalidate our signal, but the day hasn't closed yet, and we're going to get the data from the end of the day. So let's keep in touch with this one on the YouTube community. It's a good one to watch because we've got a huge gap down here. Maybe it hits $4, maybe it doesn't, but right now it is in a position that isn't as strong as we saw previously. Our second bonus stock, Kogan. Why am I mentioning Kogan? Because I put it in a previous video and I like this steady, fast uptrend. It looks steady because it's not like mooning. It's not just taken straight off, straight up, but it has been going up consistently since March. Just every week, up and up and up and up and up. We had a bit of time to pause. Maybe this is the pausing period here, and it's just going to begin to consolidate between $14 and $18. We're not sure yet. It might take off. I don't know. That's the hard part about this. Because it's still up, you have to go with the trend. The trend is your friend. If you haven't heard that before, that's an old saying. I didn't make it up. The trend is your friend. So you can't be looking for tops all the time. You can't be calling a top because it will ruin you. So the trend is up. The swings are up. You can see the swing low here. It's a beautiful, beautiful pattern. It's just up, back, taken off. You can take this as ABC trades, up and back, whereas these are getting a little bit smaller as we get on. So the up legs are beginning to reduce. That's why I think we could be coming to a pause, but I'm not going to call it because the trend is up. I'd be a fool to try and go against the trend. That's going to do us for the stocks. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching until the end. That was a mega video. I know I had a lot to cover, but I really enjoyed that, putting a whole lot of work into each of those charts. The last video I did, I had just gone through and tried to bang out a few different stocks for you guys because there have been so many requests. I prefer this way because I get to go into more detail on each of the stocks. And like I said, in future, we'll have 2 to 3 stocks. So if you're interested to have your stocks reviewed, leave them in the comments down below and be sure to get other people to like up your comments so I know which stocks are going to be more popular for the majority of people to cover. Don't forget to go and check out Justin's channel. I've left a link to his channel and video in the description down below. He's going to cover all of the fundamentals to these stocks that we just covered today. As always, if you found anything in this video useful or valuable, all I ask is that you consider liking the video down below and subscribing to the channel. You've probably seen by now I put out a lot of content like this, particular Aussie stocks and cryptocurrencies in general. If you're not into that yet, go and check out my other cryptocurrency videos. It is another great market to be investing in. Of course, not financial advice, but if you're in the space legitimately and you want to be making some gains on your money, I definitely consider researching and educating yourself in the cryptocurrency space. Be sure to stick around because I've got a video coming out this week on how to set up your account for your SMSF in Australia to be able to purchase cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the like. That's it from me today. You can check me out on Instagram and Facebook. I've got the links down there where you can keep in touch. I'll see you guys at the next video. And remember, until then, have more fun to get more done.